As long as there have been government benefits, there have been people arguing for cutting those benefits under the guise of cutting government waste. At the beginning of the 20th century, the British government introduced the first whispers of what would eventually become the modern welfare state in the 1950s. If you were over 70 and earned under £31 a year, you could get an old age pension of 5 shillings a week. Better than nothing, but 5 shillings a week was not a living wage at that time, you couldn't live off it. In 1911 we got the first national insurance, where some kinds of workers could pay in 3 or 4 pence a week, and they would get unemployment benefit and sick pay. But hundreds of thousands of people still lived in Victorian slums, unemployment was high, and kids were leaving school at 14 to work in factories or become servants. Enter the Anti-Waste League, a 1920s political party founded by Viscount Rothermere, who also founded the Daily Mail. In his book, Solvency or Downfall, Squandermania and Its Story, which is honestly a great title, he wrote that the one thought and preoccupation of voters was the immense and paralysing burden of the rates and taxes. He says that taxes are so high that the middle classes are being crushed into pauperism. Does he give a single example of one person who became poor because they paid too much tax? No? All right, my lord, what should we cut? Well, he thinks we should cut pie-in-the-sky things like education, housing, public works, transportation, and the dreams of incessant doctoring for everybody 12 times a day. All of which he calls glowing visions of the throng of moonstruck idealists who are dipping their hands so deeply into the nation's money bags. Remember, this is a country that doesn't have the NHS yet, and that is still too much healthcare, according to Viscount Rothermere. Although, to be absolutely fair to him, he does also suggest that we should save a lot of money by not going to war in the Middle East. Does any sensible man suppose that the British nation has been made more secure by the vast sums which have been poured out during the last year in the Near and Middle East? It's like politics hasn't moved on at all since 1921.